Between the last time the builders had been on site and today, there had been a flurry of activity as a result of the registered letter that I'd sent to the contracts interlocuteur. The site meeting planned for the 20th of January was able to go ahead despite there having been a heavy snowfall the night before. The builders team had arrived together with a senior director whose job it was to find a solution to the roof problems, but the meeting got off to a bad start when he merely proposed going ahead with the joist extensions that I'd already rejected. I countered by saying that if they were not prepared to remove the roof and redo the job properly, we might as well stop talking immediately. This came as something of a surprise to them, and they realised, probably for the first time, that I was dead serious about needing some proper action to resolve the problem. They said that my thoughts on the roof extensions were totally wrong, and if they came and fitted them later in the week, I'd be delighted. I said that they could come back later in the week, but they could only bring 2 samples to show me, and I would decide there and then if they were acceptable. And that's how the meeting ended. Afterwards, I sent an email enclosing an image and full details of my own proposal, which up to then they'd not seen. I received a reply saying that they'd consider it more closely, and not unexpectedly, no one turned up later in the week with any roof extension samples. Instead, they returned the following Monday, and this time the same director climbed up onto the roof and took measurements, after which he proclaimed that the roof had been placed too far forward on the house walls, exactly as I had been saying for weeks. I think that this had only become clear after my last email. After he'd finished, he proposed a different, more sophisticated way of extending the rear of the roof, and said that he would personally guarantee that I'd be satisfied. We then looked each other in the eye, shook hands, and they left, but not before I said that I needed the roof gable ends to be rectified and wanted to see no holes in the waterproof plastic cover, as there then were, as I was paying extra for it and expected it to be perfect. I asked myself if this was the moment when the project would be unlocked and start moving forward again, and Mother Nature gave me the sign that it was. So after all that, 2 workmen arrived this morning just before I was on my way out. As I left, I noticed that they'd thrown out all of the wood and everything else that had been left on the floor inside the house, and when I went up later to see what and how they were doing, I found that they were subcontractors who would be installing the ceilings and partition walls. Their first job was to mount all of the ceiling bars that would hold the ceiling plasterboard sheets in place, and when I peeked in later, I saw that they were using a laser to make sure that all the hangers were exactly the same height. This would ensure that the ceilings would be completely level. They told me that they'd been waiting for the go-ahead for some time and had heard that there'd been some problems with the build that were only resolved on the Monday. They said that the roofers would definitely be coming in soon to fix the roof and make the house fully watertight, as there was still water on the floor, and that they would be staying until all of the ceilings and interior partitions were in place.